I am just back from 3 weeks in France, and I sketched and journaled more than I ever have in my entire artistic existence. And today I'm going to do a tour of all of those journals and sketches, plus give you a look at the art supplies I felt wholly compelled to bring into my collection while traveling. I hope you'll stick around. So this you may have seen. I picked this up at Shauna So. Shauna So was Shauna So has a huge history. There we go. But maybe perhaps most known to be, it was, what was her name? It was the King of France, Henry, was it Henry the Second or whatever? It was de Poitiers, his mistress's little hideout. So he bought it for her, gave it to her, whatever. Um, and and eventually it's like those hallowed halls, it had all sorts of folks with all sorts of histories living in there. Catherine de Medici lived there at times. And so there's just so much history there. So I picked this up in the gift shop. I shared this on Instagram. It came with information. I believe it was made in India, and then kind of distributed from France, kind of a situation, and like 100% cotton rag. So I actually want to do a little doodly do in this, just to see how it feels underhand. So I am going to, at the same time, show you the Charvan palette that I picked up. I just thought this little format was so delightful. You can fill it with water, and then when you're traveling, you put a little water in the container, and then I believe this attaches. Yes, right. Am I doing it on the right side? This is supposed to attach. It's not really doing what I thought it. No, it attaches. Yep. So that's your little cute little format there. I loved it. Y'all, I am thinking of Charvan as far as I know. And I believe I asked this question. What am I doing? I asked this question when I was there, but I don't believe they are sold anywhere but in France. And I would love to get Charvan into ChristyRice.com. What do you guys think? Has anybody ever used this brand? Have you been able to get it in the US? I would love some intel if you have any. Would love, love, love some intel. All right. So let me know in comments if you are familiar with this brand and you've been able to procure it here in the US of A. Would love to know. Never heard of it. Yep. What I understood, I spent a good amount of time with the lovely gentleman in the shop, which, he was kind of an OG, and I kind of felt like, no disrespect, but I kind of felt like he was like, oh, who's this whippersnapper coming into my store with the big bag that's gonna like knock something over and not pay for it and waste all my time and not buy anything, you know what I mean? But he eventually warmed up to me because I think he could tell that, I knew a little bit about watercolor. And seriously, I think he knew a lot. I knew a little. It was fine. Um, but from what I got from our interaction was that Charvat is only sold in France, and is the only watercolor manufactured still in France. Selier isn't even manufactured in France. I believe it's packaged in France. He was all about these distinctions, which I don't blame him. So anywho, I thought, goodness gracious, wouldn't it be cool? Huh? Wouldn't it be cool to somehow get it over here? All right, I'm gonna do a little. I was doing, because I was doing a lot of like fleur de lis, ornamental stuff over there. So I was doing a lot of like figuring out how to represent symmetry in a quick way. And so let's just do a little ornamental filigree, fleur de lis-ish type thing here. All about symmetry, y'all. I talked through this a little bit in at least one of my um post over there. Definitely addressed it in a reel. This is going to end up being green, but when you are trying to create any type of architectural elements, anything at all that relies on some amount of symmetry to look like the thing you are trying to paint, you've got to use symmetry. You've got to paint in a way that honors that. And you can see me doing that here. Every stroke that I put here, and so on and so forth. And so that is still, I love the way the paint is interacting with this paper. I adore the texture of this paper. Can you see that? I'm going to get the light to hit it just right in this area. It's like a very fine, almost like linen texture. Very nice. Let's see if it's bleeding through. I wouldn't expect that it would be, but hold the phone. Oh, it almost is. It almost is. So I almost think we should put something underneath. I must have something to put underneath. Let's see here. But this is nice. I'm liking. Likey. All right. Lots of curves, equally placed. Yes, exactly. Yep. And Jennifer did ask for scroll work. I put out questions on Insta. Is anybody not on Instagram? Because I'm asking because there's so much that I do on Instagram. I would implore you, if just to stay up to date with what I'm doing, and I offer a lot of, like, I believe, valuable content on Instagram stories. I don't do much like with reels or anything. It's mostly stories, which I love. I would highly recommend getting on there. I really would. A lot of updates are announced there. Um, so you can get away from the symmetry aspect when you're doing your shadows or your highlights, right? But beyond that, I don't like what I have under here. It's too high. Oh, I think I'm gonna have to turn the fan on. Good night. All right. And this blue is delightful. I don't think it's going to have the impact now that I want it to have yet, but might do a little white, and you can see how this starts to. Charvan, so far to me now, the gentleman, the pigment numbers are not on the half pans. They only sell half pans of watercolor. That was a shocker to me. It's a limited production. Couldn't really get out of him exactly what that meant, but of course, there could have been a language barrier. He spoke very good English, though. I have his cards somewhere. Sorry, so I apologize that I keep saying he and his and not referring to him by name. But pigment information on the site, and I'm looking at these colors, right? And I'm looking, of course, they have, I forget how many, maybe it's 100 and some different colors. I'm like, there's whites there's like PW6 in a lot of these. He's like, no. Like, he was very adamant. No, like that, no white in watercolor. I'm like, okay, all right. But I haven't looked yet. If anybody wants to go look up Charvan dot whatever FR and see, but I have a feeling, just from the way these feel, from the way many of these don't spread, they're very Holbeinish in my estimation. I think there's a lot of white in them, but I could be wrong, and it could be something with the binder that it's giving that feel for me underhand. But yeah, I'm getting white vibes. He would not let me take any video, which was disappointing. Because he definitely seemed to have kind of not a love for. Said something about, oh, things get online and opinions and da 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 da. And I told him I was a YouTuber, and he kind of scoffed. But then, I mean, like, we really had a lovely time, chatting eventually, but I definitely did not feel, now see that red moves and grooves. I did not feel incredibly welcome at first. Like, I felt kind of like a child in a very fancy, like, breakable shop that I was being watched very closely. And so, but I get it. They were right on the main drag in Paris, right next to the river, in a very kind of on a very touristy strip between Notre Dame and the Louvre. So I am sure they probably get a whole mess of just goofballs that just come in because it's like, oh, pretty colors, and really have no interest in art. So I respect it. I'm not mad about it, but it was definitely part of my experience. Like, it took, he had to warm up to me, and I tried so hard, but he had to warm up to me. Anywho, love this paper. You can really see the texture there. Now, rag paper, in my experience, tends to do things that look like it's pilling, but sort of blend away when it dries. So, anywho, that is that 100% rag that I got at Shauna So and Charvan. What do we think of Charvan? It's very reasonably priced, I might add. Um, I think they were €9 a half pan. I'm going off of memory. But anyway, would you be interested in trying them? Would you be interested in seeing them in christyrice.com? I'll be honest, I highly doubt I could ever get that to happen. They seem very exclusive and very, whatever. Um, Social, yeah. Yeah, there is definitely a social cultural difference, but the French, if I had to generalize, the French are a little bit more cold, if you will. Um, Very similar to, like, Amsterdam, the Dutch. And I've had chats with actual Dutch folks, and they're like, yeah, like, you're an outsider until you're an insider with us, that kind of thing. So I was taking that into consideration, and it was still felt it, you know, and I'm also a very self-conscious person. So I walked in and I just immediately got a vibe. So that put me that put me on edge. So let's see. I got this cute little Shakespeare and Co. pouch. Shakespeare and Co. is that little bookshop. You may have heard about it. The stuff in here, though, is all stuff I took with me. Nothing new in here, but isn't that sweet? And I love that it's on front and back. And this was right down the way from our little Airbnb. We were like a block from Notre Dame. It was so ridiculous. Um, Now I was in Amboise, and there was a stationary tobacco kind of convenience store. And often these tobacco places, the more elaborate ones, are like bookstores. You can get drinks, you can get cool, like, drawing, art-ish, art, kind of on the edge of art supplies. Well, of course, they had Stabilo. And many of you heard me talk. I did a lot of colored pencil work, a lot. I was very proud of myself and shocked. So early in the trip at the Louvre, I picked up this cute little set. And this is one of, like, the Louvre's kid program character dudes. It was €6. It came with really cheap pencils that were double-sided like this. And I used the heck out of them. Like, I eventually tossed them because I was getting to the end of each side and the points just kept breaking. So about 2 weeks in, I tossed them, and I was in this shop. I picked up the Stabilos, and I was really happy with them. Really happy with the Stabilos. Of course, and y'all know I love Stabilo. This was €4.90 for 18 color pencils. So if you've never tried actual legit, like, not legit, but like just colored pencils before, I would say give Stabilo a try. You can get them on Amazon. Yeah. I was very pleased with these. And, I have a very limited knowledge of color pencils. But I also grabbed in that shop Caran d'Ache, double-sided. And to be honest, these were maybe a skosh more saturated than Stabilo, but not much. Let me actually try to find a negligible similar color here. This is darker and this is a metallic, but y'all, the Caran d'Ache set was, you know, I think 20 euro or euro 80, 90, whatever. So definitely a fan. I'm such a fan of Stabilo. Huge, huge fan. So that was a great find. Oh gosh, I'm just looking all over the place here. We were in the Louvre. Looked up Charvan's color pigments. They do have I knew it. I flipping knew it. Okay, and oh gosh, I hope I don't sound like a sassy teenager, but he seemed so offended that I suggested that there might be white pigment in these formulations. And I was like, dude, but they look so creamy. And then I just gave up. I gave up the ghost. I was like, whatever. Maybe it was a language barrier, but I don't think so. I knew it. I'm glad I'm not losing my mind. But yes. So I'll say again about Charvan. I really enjoyed these. Let me actually do a little something on a more traditional watercolor paper. Well, not more traditional, but a watercolor paper that you see me use more often. Where in the heck now? There we go. And we'll see how we feel about it. But I find they have similarities, like I said, to Holbein, but they also move. Like this red, y'all, moves, right? But then, of course, you have things like this particular blue, definitely has white in it, not going to move as much. This was, he had said that their fluorescents had become very popular. I will say this fluorescent, not as pigmented. So if you want to get into fluorescents, but you're like, oh, I don't know, Charvan would be a nice option. I don't know where you get them in the States though. So I'm going to reach out to them. They've been following me on Insta and liking things and whatnot. So who knows? Who knows, y'all? Let's show you this beautiful kind of golden. Yeah, it's definitely giving Holbein, but less creamy. It's not as pigmented as I thought it would be. Like you see that green? Like I am like digging, and the juiciness of the palette of the half pan is on high, but I have to really build that color. This pink is lovely, but again, very creamy. It's like a more vibrant potter's pink, which I like. Nice flow to that one. So here is a look. This fluorescent pink is granulating a bit. Love that. This red is, love it. So I really enjoy this palette, and I really would like to offer them in my store. We'll see if they let me. We'll see. New to this, how to start, very vague. I know, Karen. Okay, so I love that question. And there's always so many questions I think of when that question is asked. So I typically, let me ask Karen, do you have any supplies yet? And if you do, what are they? I love seeing Notre Dame. It was very clean inside. I've seen it before, and that was the one thing. Like they definitely, I don't know whether they power wash those old places, but man, it was very clean. It was clean. It was clean. It was crazy. When they did the restoration, I don't know. I don't know what they just. I think they made a judgment call to clean it up, clean up the existing walls. I picked this up in the Charvan store. And sorry, I'm looking at questions. If you are in France, I suggest to try Gouache. Rahat watercolor. They are very pleasant to use. As far as I saw this brand, you can find them only in France. I have never heard of that brand, but now I'm curious and I wish I would have known about it when I was in France. So let's give a try to this bamboo paper. It's a Clairefontaine, which I've used before. I picked up, I've seen this now in Amsterdam. I've seen this in France. It seems like maybe it's one of a more of a go-to in Europe. €14.50 and 115 pounds bamboo, 100% bamboo. So I want to give this a try, and I'm going to give this a try with these fun little pens that I got. I regret getting them. I was lured in. They were too much, but they're cute. And I just got bamboozled. I got bamboozled in my brain by the pretty, pretty, pretty squirrel. Because when I first laid down the color, they're very soft. It's definitely a brush tip, right? Very soft. Okay, I like the way they're moving on the bamboo for sure, although they're staining. But I picked them up. There's a time and the place for fun stuff like this. I am a little worried about their longevity because it's like a paper. The decorative outer area is paper. And they are very prone to dry brush if you're heavier handed, which I am. No supplies. Okay, Karen, I got you. I got you, boo. Okay, so what I would do is, Karen, you can get, it's like 120 of these 5x7s. It's 100% cotton. It is not the most perfect paper, but I will tell you, it is lovely for the price. And it's like, are you in the US? I'm going to go on the assumption you are at this point. It's like $14 for 120 pieces. So you don't have to feel like, oh my gosh, I can't practice this precious paper, so on and so forth. In terms of a palette, depending on your budget, I do think my palette is a great beginner palette, but it is $42. So that is often not a beginner budget, but I will show you. And you can find it also. We can get you a link to that. That being said, however, I would, for a more budget-friendly option, recommend, I'm getting up, so I'm going to sound distance. It's the Meiling palette, and it is spelled, no. Yeah, definitely get the 5x7. The larger is a different paper. Yes, the 5x7. If Sketches is able to find the link, it's linking to the right paper, and I think they're back in stock since the last time I mentioned it. That's a good guess, the Komorabi, but I have since kind of pulled back on that one a little bit, and so I'm definitely suggesting the Meiling. I will get you a link while we're here hanging out. And correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Meiling Paul Rubens? I could be dead wrong. I might just be like pulling that out of my who, what, yin yang. And it's just a lovely palette, great variety of colors. Now they have two options. It's currently, I think it's $20.99, which you can't beat. And that is for, what is it, 36? Yep, 36 colors. Here you go. Yes, Meiling is Paul Rubens. Thank you, Sketches. There's the link for you. Oh, they have a 2 refill set. That's awesome now. So that would be my suggestion. Oh gosh, you know, Facebook, you're annoying. I do make up my own words. I'm glad you enjoy it. But I will definitely recommend my brush sets as a really beginner-friendly option for you. Let me pull up the link. It's $32. You get 6 brushes, and it's got everything you need to mess around as a beginner. Here is that brush set. That is what I would recommend. So you're looking at 32, 20, 50. you're looking at, like, you could start this whole shebang with quality supplies for under $75. Yeah. I will say this, y'all. I use all the other paints since I have designed and developed my own paint palette, but I do not use any other brushes but my own. So my brushes just, they're like an extension of my own hand. So anyway, there is a wonderful answer to that question. Let's throw a little bit of just whatever paint on here instead of the markers to see how it feels. I'm going to get my own palette going here. Remember, this is the Clairefontaine Bamboo. This palette is dirty, but we're going to run with it. And we'll see how, anybody loving bamboo paper? How you feel? Oh, that's rocking and rolling. There we go. Now the purple, my purple doesn't rock and roll as much. My brown tends to move, but it's not moving today. It's probably dirtied up with something that I can't remember. But I like this. I like this paper. Yep, this is my Art for Joy's Sake palette on bamboo paper. I was curious about the staining. Getting stain, like, yeah, now my purple doesn't normally stain. We are getting some staining, but it's interesting. And the texture is somewhere between a cold press and a hot press. Definitely more hot press leaning. Clairefontaine. Clairefontaine. Let me show you. Clairefontaine. Fontaine. I'm just out of France. I should be able to pronounce this more French-like. So another sketchbook I picked up was from Charvan, and it's this Carnet d'aquarelle. Oh my God, I can't pronounce. Forget it, Chris Rice. Oh my gosh, they're never gonna let me sell stuff. They're gonna be like, girlfriend can't even pronounce. This was the original swatching page I did of the Charvan paints. So you can see this definitely lent very pastel, but I still really love the palette and the combination. I think a really nice like a not an indigo, like a Payne's gray, really intense Payne's gray would be awesome addition to this, and maybe even a really neutral but very juicy brown of something like a sienna, some sort would be cool. So little window here, and this is cold press. Oh, it's done by Clairefontaine. Okay, I didn't even notice that. I didn't even there. So they had Clairefontaine build these for them. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Yeah, here, let me show you which one. This one, yeah. So there's the texture. Let's give it a little painty paint. Now let's do a little bit more scroll work just to kind of lean into the symmetry piece. All right. So if we're going to do a swirl here, press, drag, and slowly lift. And then you could you could go this way, which I think is a little more difficult than taking a moment and kind of seeing where you want to line up and going back this way. It's still not going to be perfect. See, it's a little bit, it's hard. It's hard. And then you can go and adjust. I want to make this a little thicker. And then you can come over here and make this a little thicker, right? And it's still, y'all, it's not going to be perfect. Like this kind of stuff, you want perfection, you're going to be sketching it out first, right? All right. Then what do we want? Do we want some floofs? I want some floofs. There's some great books of like different ornamental elements from different cultures. I picked it up years ago. I don't even know where it is right now. I don't have, my brain can't even process where it's at right now. But it's a wonderful book. It might be something really nice to have in your arsenal. I'm just building another like fleur-de-lis-ish type element. Or you can even really fun, just start building a page of swirls using just one brush and try to kind of maintain some semblance of symmetry. It's a great little exercise. Bring some purple in here just to be weird on a dirty brush. Oh, we're going to go up here and hit the top. I'm going to thicken that. See that? Super fun. Rinse the brush because it's getting dirty. I'm going to go here and here. Right? Reload because I know I'm already running out. And I'm going to go here. Really fun exercise. Like a bunny. Kind of looks like a stag to me. Some kind of crazy, like, witchy stag. But this is so heckin' fun. I don't know what heckin' means, but rinsing. So we're going. I definitely felt like my palettes, especially in my watercolor journal, and we're going to get to that really soon. My palettes were very muted for me, very muted on this trip, and I was so enjoying it. Keeping that symmetry in mind. Remember, this is like lazy symmetry, y'all. This is like lazy symmetry, okay? But it's great for sketchbook. So because you want that satisfaction of, okay, I'm sketching, painting, drawing the thing, and I want it to look like the thing, but I can't have it take, I can't have it take 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? You can't have your journal sketching taken 2 hours when you're on the road. Let's just face it, right? Definitely getting, I mean, this is full on dry brush here. I'm going to wet just the tip of my brush just to get some flow back in here. And then some thinner lines. Some more, just kind of working that out. Oh yeah, I like that. Just crazy, like fallopian tube stag here. Got a fallopian tube stag. I wonder if I'm going to get dinged for saying fallopian tube. Bring in some of this fluorescent, and you'll see what I mean. The pigment load on this is, ooh, but it glazes beautifully. Look at that glazing over them dirty colors. Look at that. Isn't that fun? Wasn't expecting that glazing power. Oh, that's nice. Anyhow, lovely paper. I would definitely, if you are a connoisseur of paper and you haven't tried Clairefontaine yet, I definitely would recommend. You should be able to get it definitely on like probably St. Louis Art Supply or Jackson's for sure. I can't imagine you wouldn't find it between those two places. All right, so who's gonna try the crazy fleur-de-lis swirly fill page exercise? Because I think this is a very worthwhile, fun little exercise. And then, of course, I love the colors too. Yes, liner. Yep, we could get a liner in here, absolutely. But let's do a little highlight with some bleed-proof white. Trying not to spill it because this is a new jar of bleed-proof white. So she is juicy. No, that needs to go longer. I'm still in the symmetry brain here. And you can be thinking about, even obscuring all or part of lines that you've previously laid down to improve your symmetry. That's the other thing. Even when you're journal sketching, quick sketching, it's okay to choose to obscure something you put down earlier, right? Totally okay. Who's the chick that it was one of the Coppolas that did the Marie Antoinette movie? I'm feeling like this is very like second generation Coppola kind of vibe. Oh, what the heck? Sophia Coppola. She did the Marie Antoinette with Kirsten Dunst, which I watched with my son, fast forwarding through some very specific parts. But he wanted to learn about Marie Antoinette because we actually visited where she was held in France at the conciergerie. I actually did not know that. I knew it was a prison during the French Revolution, but I didn't know that she was kept there for her last days. And the exhibit was so well done and so fascinating, with so many artifacts and letters, or, you know, supposed journal entries and whatnot. And my son took a real interest to her story. And so the few nights in Paris where we weren't just like collapsing into bed after long days, we were watching Marie Antoinette. Yeah. Oh, I love this. How do you clean that bleed proof white? I mean, it's water based, so it is thicker, so I just give it an extra rinse. But honestly, yeah, I don't worry too much about it, because here, this is a double rinse. I did a rinse in my dirty water and then a rinse in my clean, and she's gone. I mean, even up close, right where the ferrule meets the bristles. And yes, this will get you painting more loose. I'm gonna go, just because Jennifer said so, do a little bit of liner brush work. I really hope you try this. I'm gonna go take a look at comments to see who might have committed to giving this a whirl. I'm still working on all the Patreon content for the month of April. So I may very well, now that I just took that symmetry right down the you know what with that mark that I made, but we're gonna fix it. There we go. She's back in order. I might do an elaborated version of this for my patrons this month. I think it could be really fun. So this is like a press and lift, but because of the elongated bristle, when you lift, it kind of almost makes a wiggle, like an unintentional wiggle, which creates a really interesting line quality. I think there's 4 here. So just do one more. So fun. I'm getting into this. I do love this paper. And then we got to look at, where did the line originate? Make sure on the other side it's originating in the same place. And I'm struggling here. Fix it, because that's the thing with symmetry. You do one side really confidently, and then you're trying to do the other side. If you're trying to do it without like twisting your paper around, you could start to feel like an awkwardness in your hand hold of the brush. So just kind of be aware of that, and you can definitely see the difference in the confidence of my brush hand and how I was holding it. That's okay. All right, and then we could even come in, let's come in with a little bit of cat's tongue action for some more distinct, maybe some little dots. And as you go, your lack of symmetry will become more obvious, because you will try to, like, you'll notice here, it became pretty obvious that I had lost some exact symmetry, but there's ways you can add a little extra one. Nobody's going to notice, and now it looks symmetrical again. I find that symmetry in loose watercolors is more forgiving than you would expect. All right. Fun. It almost looks like a shandy. What art store would you go in Paris if you could only do one? Oh gosh. Like if it was your first time in Paris, I would oh gosh. That's hard. So here's the thing. In Paris, you've got Charvan and you've got Selier, and I'm sure there are others that have multiple brands that I didn't even get to, because I wanted to go to those two, because Selier has been there forever. And then Charvan was a brand I had never used before. Selier sells a lot more than Selier. So I'm gonna say this: Selier, but try to get your butt down to Charvan. They're not that far. They're a couple blocks away from each other, if I'm remembering correctly. But if you truly only had time for one, I would do Selier. It's just got history. even though Sennelier paints are not made in France anymore, just packaged. It's got 3 levels. They have inks and nibs and all sorts of Japanese watercolors, brands I've never heard of before. They've got their own Sennelier collection, but they've got sketchbooks, watercolor papers. I mean, just dreamy stuff. So, yep. I can't speak to some. There's others. I forget. I think there's the word atom in them, that are more of like a chain that I didn't get to. This is another Clairefontaine extra white, which it's very smooth, and that's just like, I think, dirt. That's not part of the paper, but very smooth. But I take 100% cotton. I picked that up. Where did I get this? I think I got this at Sennelier. I did expand my Sennelier collection. So I'm going to be making a palette of that soon. Man, my purple is dirty from my own palette. It's dirty. I told you this whole palette is dirty. I don't know if I was using, water-based inks or what, but I dirtied it up something fierce. So just so you can see the texture on this one. But I do like the bright white. I'm a fan of bright white. Definitely a fan of bright white. All right. What else? There's more. Trust me, there's more. Okay, Charvan, here is my big old bag. Big old bag. That sounded ominous. Okay. I will say my biggest surprise store that I just found to be, it was such a delight because it was so unexpected, was this stationery store under the Louvre. It was in like the Louvre mall, if you will. And that's where I got this. That's where I picked up this gel pen for sketching. I haven't tried it yet. Oh my gosh, it's one of my daughter's toys. She's been looking for that. Pilot, I think that's for this. Refills for this. What else did I get there? Just going to play. But anyway, that store was so fun. I got more, but I think a lot of it oh yeah, I got the these brush pens there. It was, I actually wish I would have picked up more things there. Like, that's how enjoyable it was. It was, it was our second day in Paris, and I was trying to be like, realizing I had a lot more, research and development purchasing to do. So I was very, kind of played it safe in there. But let me show you this one. I think this is German. Yeah. And it is a gel pen. Picked up the apricot barrel. It has a beautiful heft to it. And remind me how it comes out. Well, this isn't correct, but what's in here? Yeah, we've got that in there. Why isn't it coming out? There it is. So it was a twist. Okay, so watch. Twist, and it's out. Okay. Here's the brands. If I can't, just there. You read it. Okay? You read it. That's it. All right, let's see here. Oh, I love the way. Yeah, and I tested this one out in the store. Oh, that's nice. That is nice. I'm doing a little churchy kind of steepley situation, just in honor of all the architecture that I was challenging myself with. Ooh, this feels, there's no Bic, there's no ballpoint vibe to this. I sometimes feel like gel pens sometimes have that ballpoint vibe. I am doing this on watercolor paper, so I'm getting some nice textures. Really nice. And I think they had different point colors or point sizes, if I am not mistaken. Love this. Let's see what it does when it gets wet. Oh, wait a minute. Y'all, gel pens moving in water? What? Is that? Yeah. Sketches agrees. Paperweight, no difference. Bockingford, help me sketches. Was it what? Wait, Bockingford's watercolor, right? I'm having a complete mental breakdown. Meaning, can't remember. Ooh, that's nice. Gel pens are not supposed to go release in water. Wait a minute. Yeah, gel, black, stylo gel, ceramic ball, designed in Germany, made in Taiwan. Number one. Wait, what does this say? Oh, this is in German. No, it's not. German compound noun. Hold on. Try to get this open. Packaging is so lovely. Truly distinctive hexagonal body with a pointed tip, which, like the twist of the button, is a contrasting color. Made from precision milled aluminum brass, then painted and sealed. Spring-loaded twist mechanism available in 2 models. A ballpoint pen that takes royal blue or black ink, and as a gel pen with black ink and a stroke width of 0.5 millimeters. Okay, cool. All right. So any thoughts on the gel pen releasing in water? But I'll tell you what, I'm dang excited about the fact that it's releasing in water. So that is going in my special pen jar. All right. I also really loved what this did in wet, on wet paper. All right, so I have the Pilot Parallel pen, and this is kind of like a calligraphy pen. And I really enjoyed, they had, you could test everything in this store. So I was able to test, and this is the 2.4 millimeter. Packaging isn't as inspiring. Not gonna lie. All right, I don't know what that is. Is there anything in here? Probably not. All right. Is this blue or black? We will find out. Oh, is that? Let's see. I don't know what that is. What's this blue thing? Is that to save your reservoir? You like switch out? Where's that? I don't know what that is. Where in the world are people watching from? Great question. So there is your tip. There it is. Ooh, better get that all the way on. There are instructions. It comes with red as well, but then I got all the colors. Beautiful lettering. The Pilot Parallel pen can also be used for drawing, illustrations, name cards, menus. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, so they have all different nib sizes. Presenting the ultimate enjoyment in beautiful and individual handwriting. Major breakthrough in calligraphy pen design. Okay. Make sure not to drop. The structure of the pen is very delicate. Awesome. That just, okay, nib cleaner. Oh, that's a nib cleaner. I am never going to remember where I put that. All right, what is this to-be-do thing? That is a pipette for cleaning the pen unit. Okay, pipette. I don't know how to say it. All right, very, very cool. Maybe I will kind of leave this all in here. Excuse me, that would probably be very smart. Are we loaded, locked and loaded yet? Close. Oh, and the nice lady, my son was with me in Selier, and she's like, gave these to him for him to paint with. And I'm like, dude, Daniel Smith for a 9-year-old boy? Okay. And I took them. So we'll do a giveaway with those at some point. Okay. Thank you, Tammy. Okay, this one's not coming out yet, so we're just gonna let that one hang out while I show you some more stuff. And then I want to just like hopefully like 5 more minutes on the supplies, and then we will get to the journal, flip through. Let me show you the dried bright white Clairefontaine 100% cotton, and this one is 140 pounds. It's pretty smooth. Can we see that? Well, come on. There we go. That's pretty smooth. But I like it. I like how it took washes, but with the benefit of smoothness. And I'll show you the bamboo dry. That is the 100% bamboo. I like a lot of the weirdness it gave. It gave some serious weirdness. Wonder what the sizing is on that. Who knows? I picked up these Caran d'Ache watercolor markers. Felt tip, feels very, if I'm going to be honest, juvenile in not only the packaging but the hand feel, but I wanted to give them a go. And as you can see, they stain. I'm guessing there might be dyes in here. They just I was a little bit disappointed, but I mean, they'll have their use. I'm guessing, I think they'd be better for kind of line and wash, and not obviously not try without trying to get any type of smoothness or using them for texture. Now they are blending out, but like who wants to do that? So I grabbed these. I wonder if they were €19.90. So I'm not thinking these are meant to be for kiddos. That's pretty. So I did pick these up. Let me try one more, something a little more intense. I got these in that cool Amboise Tabac stationery stop, but definitely a felt tip. But it doesn't say anywhere, you know, it says fiber tipped pen marker pen. They call it a pen. Okay, so watercolor pen. Interesting. All right. Top bananas. All right. Is this coming out yet? Because I really loved this. And am I doing something wrong? It's definitely making its way down. I don't know what that's called. I'm not super experienced with like calligraphy pens, but yeah. Okay, we'll hang tight, hanging tough. Is that a twist on? That's a twist on. Interesting feel to this whole thing. Huh. All right. Carry on my wayward son. Yeah, this has a, like the instructions said, a very delicate feel. which is a little concerning. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if we'll get back to that one today because it's not popping as quick as I need it to pop. All right. I am still absolutely obsessed with that German gel pen. Anybody have any insight on that gel pen releasing in water situation? That wasn't my understanding of gel pens. So we have, these are some inks I got at Selier. Oh, dear Lord. Sorry about that. So these are some inks I got at Selier. So this is Jacques Urbain, Eclat, I don't know, pigmented ink. So French, a French brand, I assume, €11.29. Huge bottle. Ooh. Pretty, not any more intense than, well, no, a little bit more intense than the Charvan. I like that. So I picked that up, and I picked up Abstract Acrylic ink from Selier. Loved the color. Interesting. Something smells odd. I was not expecting that. Oh, I love that color. Nice coverage. I like that color a lot. I picked up another Jacques Urbain Cinnabar. Now, if this is made with Cinnabar pigment, I don't know. So we want to be careful. Did I mix it well enough? I think I fell in love with the packaging. Yeah, that's very sheer. Definitely fell in love. I mean, look at this packaging. I'm going to lay these down. So pretty. Oh, my word. Oh, my word. Oh, my gosh. Look at that. Ooh, gorgeous. Gorgeous. What else did I grab? Oh, this one. Oh, gosh. This is sealed with wax. This is Encre Lumineux Bleu Alexandrie. Alexandrie. L'artisan pastelier. I don't know. Oh gosh, am I gonna be able to get this open? Oh, I used my teeth. And it's it's like dried wax. Oh my gosh. That was gross. €6.39 though. Oh, I thought it was gonna be like gummy and just like peel back. No. That's what you get for using your teeth. Okay. Okay, y'all, this is weird. I think it just broke the lid. Like the lid was almost like brittle. Yeah, the lid is so look at this. Okay, I'm not happy. So cute and all, seal it with wax, whatever. But look at when you break apart the wax, then maybe I did something wrong, but it broke part of the lid. Ugh, gross. I'm sure I did something wrong. You're all like, yeah, you used your teeth, ding dong. I don't know. I expected that wax to be like pliable. There we go. Broke the seal. I think the lid will probably still work. So, oh gosh, mess. We'll be okay. All right, let's see. Opaque-ish. Definitely, yeah, not ish. Ooh. Kind of like an acrylic ink. I can read French to a point. That's interesting. Definitely staining on the Cinnabar. Oh yeah, the lid still works. Fabulous. Lumineux Pastille made in France. I don't know. If anybody wants to research that a little bit. Feels like an acrylic ink. Selier was an acrylic ink. It's definitely feeling acrylic. Let me just get this grossness out of there. I also bought that one because of the packaging and the price was incredible. So, but no, that was brittle. Woo! All right, what else we got in this bag of fun? This looks German. Leipzig and Co. Rohr and Klingner. Turquoise. Okay. Pigmented drawing and calligraphy ink, resistant to erasing and waterproof. All right. Oh, wow, that's beautiful. It's so gorgeous. Let's see if it does anything interesting. Like that, just because it's a gorgy color. Certainly watercolor paints that would give you that kind of look. Specifically right off the top of my head, I'm thinking of like there's a M. Graham, I think it's turquoise of some sort, that is very similar to that. And then we've got Selier, turquoise blue. So I'm assuming non-acrylic, €7.73. Satin finish. What else does it say here? Anybody like inks? We got some ink lovers in the house. Apply with a brush, drawing pen, shake. I need to get this off. Okay. Traditional shellac based ink. Okay. Shellac based. I really like what's going on over here with that crusty blue capped situation. Oh my gosh, look how similar those colors are. But this one's a little more green. This one's a little more blue. Let's see what it does getting into the more acrylic inks. Look how that's moving and grooving. All right, we are all done with that bag. And then y'all, I picked up I wanted to embellish on my Selier collection. So I grabbed a bunch of tubes, and I'm going to be, because Selier is another brand that I traditionally kind of abandoned early on in my career because I was like, I don't like it. But, famous last words for me. So there are some extras that I grabbed to elaborate on my collection. Oh, y'all, I got Charvan too as well. I got their gouache. I got Charvan gouache. And I have white as well hiding out in my other bag that I didn't bring onto the live. But I got kind of these sherbet colors. So pretty. So pretty. Okay, it's got some of that weird residue-y stuff that comes out. So, the binder. I'm going to paint over this Cinnabar. I like that. Beautiful coverage, velvety feel. That's nice. That's this one. This one is called Caribbean Pink. Rosantille. Rosantille. I don't know if there's a y on the end. And T. 2 L's. So I picked up these acrylic gouaches at Selier, and they're Turner acrylic gouache. Oh, let's try this one while I'm trying to engage my brain here. Glittery. It's supposed to be glittery. That does not look like glittery. And man, does it have a weird texture. Glittery? That is not. Is that? Oh. Okay, so it's more like like glaze. Maybe use it as a glaze? Oh, I don't know. That is glitter. That's not mica, y'all. That is glitter. I don't know how I feel about that. All right. Look at that. I don't know how. Maybe I like it. Okay, Carrie's. Wait, isn't Jerry's going out of business, or is that somebody else? All right. Yeah, y'all, because not only do I have my journals, but I also have all the art books that I bought. So we're going to do that next week. Is that okay? And I'll swatch out some of these Seliers. And we will do journals next week. Let's do these greens. Let's do this. And then this. We'll do the greens. Okay. All right. Did y'all see my granulating video, the Mission Gold granulating video that went live while I was away? That one, there was some folks Folks, there was definitely some folks that did not like how I swatched those colors. It was interesting. I love me a good conversation. But I do now, there's some things I want to try based on some of the conversations that were going on. Sorry, that one got dirtied a bit. Oh, these are gorgeous. My gosh. I have a feeling I was all wrong about Selier. I have a feeling I was all wrong. Look at that. Look at that. So we've got oxide chrome, chromium oxide green. And then this next one was greenish umber. Ooh, love that. And then we did, wait, yep. No. Then we did phthalo green light. And next up is brown green. I'm going to just pull some out like this so we don't get too much. You know how I've said over the years, oh, that is so pretty. Don't paint directly from the tube. Now these move, y'all. These move. Selier are known to be amazing glazers, very clean color, traditional, sheer, awesome sauce. All right. There's some Christy science for you. All right. There are those. Let's see. This and then this and then this and then this. And then we've got quinacridone gold. And I know, was it who discontinued their quinacridone gold? Was it Winsor & Newton Professional or was it something else? So I scooped this one up as fast as I could possibly. The woman in the store at Selier was such a doll. I mean, she definitely was very French. Like, I kind of just felt like at any minute she was going to roll her eyes at me, but with a smile. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm just being very me. I was just like, oh, so excited and like doing the little claps and like, I was just being very me. And you know me, I can be a bit much, but she was so tolerant of me and so kind to Isaac. And anyway, it was fun. All right, let's do this color. I love how these are blending, y'all. This is just called Selier Orange. Isn't that delightful? Look how clean these are, y'all. These are so clean, meaning the opacity is low or like non-existent. You know, there's no high opacity stuff going on here. Oh, my brush was dirty on that one. Daggone it. And this is opera. Hold on. I got to get a clean brush. What? My brush wasn't that dirty. It was not feeling very opera to me, but I wonder what the light fast rating is. Because maybe it's a PR81 1. But my brush might have been dirty. So let's get a clean. Okay. But still not what I would traditionally think is opera, but close. Anybody know the light fastness on PR81 1? Oh, wait, it's right on here. Light N.R. What does that mean? Light fastness N.R. Anybody know? See, I have no problem admitting what I don't know. And let's finish this off and then, yeah. All right, this one is Selier Gray. And this one, ooh, now look at that weird sizing, which I don't mind. This one is Prussian. It's kind of a mild Prussian. Come on now. Let's go. Like, meaning the pigment load isn't what I expected. Okay. Somebody asked on one of my shorts the other day in comments, like, how could you have so many blues? And I'm like, this is how, because I like to find the blue. I like to find my favorite. And y'all know my Artistic Isle Prussian, my handmade from Artistic Isle is my favorite so far. And this one is turquoise green PG50. Is NR maybe not rated? I don't know. Yeah, and these are all I picked up, y'all. These are all I picked up. I had to like, again, this was early in my trip and I was like, I gotta keep it down, y'all. All right, friends, this has been a blast. I appreciate you all so much. And I apologize. I am not my full bubbly self yet. I'm really not, because I am still very much jet lagged. I am always more affected by jet lag on the way home, which is odd. Um, So, friends, thank you so much. It's been a blast. I'm so thrilled to be back. Next week, I'll be going live. The week after, I'll be live. And then I am traveling again. So, there'll be 1 week without a live in May, the beginning of May. But, and then I am home. No, I lie. I have one more trip and then I'm home for the whole summer. I have a trip in mid-June and you are all going to love this trip. I know I have to go, but I'm so excited. I have to tell you about this. My best friend and I are obsessed with Anne of Green Gables. Obsessed. 2 Christmases ago, we're the kind of gift givers. Like, we don't like, oh, it's Christmas, I need to buy you gifts. Like, it's like, oh, it's a random Tuesday in July, and I don't care that it's not Christmas. I'm going to buy you this thing that I found you that's awesome. Right. So I, for once, had something awesome I wanted to gift her at Christmas, which was exciting. And it was a trip to, I paid for accommodations, not the whole trip, good Lord, but to go to Prince Edward Island in Canada, the birthplace of Lucy Maud Montgomery, who is the author of Anne of Green Gables series. And so we are going girls only trip, grown-up girls only trip for 5 nights, just after Father's Day. And so we are very excited. Kay, I need to get my butt to London. My husband and I are already talking about next year's big European trip. Y'all know travel is a priority for our family. Please don't judge. I'm so nervous. I just feel too blessed and just embarrassed about it. But anyway, so we're going to be in Prince Edward Island, and I'm really enjoying journaling, y'all. I'm enjoying sketching, and I never have before, like the journals that I did, and we'll go through these next week, and the art books from my trip. I've never enjoyed sketchbooks so much in my life as I did in the last 3 weeks. So I'm already searching for the perfect size sketchbook for my 5-day trip. It has to be a smaller one because I also like the idea of kind of having a plan to near term fill a sketchbook from traveling, if that makes sense. I don't know. Thank you, Karen. So Prince Edward Island, we're gonna do it's like a pilgrimage for Anne of Green Gables fans, and we're very excited. So, oh my god, oh yeah, the 2 puppies, Luna. But it's a Luna Tuna. But I do gotta go. We've got a doctor's appointment with my. Come here, Dobby. Come here, Dobby. Oh, Dobby. Oh my gosh, Dobby, did you put on weight, man? Oh goodness. Oh, there's my two naked dogs, Dobby and Luna. Oh gosh, you stink. Whew. Oh, they're such good babies. Yeah. I think Dobby, because he looks like our little house elf, put on weight. All right, friends. Thanks so much. I will see you. Get on Instagram. Follow my stories. It's the place to be. Seriously, so much happens in those stories. So if you're not on Instagram, do it for me. Do it for me, okay? Lots of announcements coming. A relaunch of Patreon. We are, oh my gosh, we are heavily changing things. We want to make watercolor joy, way more accessible. So we are taking our $40 tier and we're making it like we're cutting it at least in half. No. Our $40 tier is going to be no higher than $15, but I'm seriously eyeballing the $9 a month price point. So stay close, pay attention. We're going to be offering, if you sign up during our relaunch week, you pay for the year, which will be like $86 for that tier. You're going to get in the mail an original piece of art from me, but you have to sign up during launch week. Yes. All right. Thanks, friends. See you soon. Bye.